All right. I'll try to keep track of who people need me to admit them. So, hello, everybody that's on. All of you know me, so I'm not going to do my introduction, but I am going to go ahead and mute everybody and get started. So, I titled this call Things That Will Make or Break You, and specifically with your business. And the reason I titled it this is because I had so many things like running through my head that I wanted to share with you guys. And not because I like to hear myself talk, because these things actually do make me nervous, but because I feel like I've learned so much from this business, like things that you shouldn't do. And I've learned the hard way. And so I have just so much information that I wanted to share with you guys. So I wanted something to kind of encompass all of that. So I am going to start with talking about the 4 pillars of your business. And then there were some extra things that I feel like are really important that will make or break you also. But the 4 pillars of your business, I think, that are going to really either propel you forward or keep you stuck. Number one is enrollment. And so for this, obviously, we all know how to enroll people, but I'm talking about continuing to recruit and enroll people. Every month, you should at least be striving for silver, which means you personally add 3 new people. And so we don't want to ever get to a point in our business where we're just content. I have somebody waiting to be let in. Just and we don't ever want to get to a place where we are just content with like where we are. We want to continually be enrolling. But in order to enroll, that means we have to be consistently doing some other things too. We have to be consistently showing up on social media, right? If that's like your biggest platform, or at least talking to people about Plexus. Um, we have to be intentional about what we're sharing and how we're sharing. So we're not just slapping up a post with a graphic, but we're sharing posts with our pictures in it, and we are being genuine and real. We are, in order to enroll people, we have to be continuing to build trust and build relationships. The people that we have in our warm market, so the people that we just already know, the people that trust us, that love us, that will use the products because they like us, um, that's awesome, but we also need to continue to build relationships with other people, because at some point you're going to get to where those people that know and love and trust you, they've tried Plexus or they've used Plexus for the most part. So we always want to be continuing to build relationships with new people and more people. And this is honestly an area I think that I did not do well with, because I think when I started with Plexus, I had a pretty big network. And so it lasted me a while, and it was great. I knew a lot of people and was connected to a lot of people, and I by no means am through my warm market. So I don't want you to hear me saying like I exhausted my warm market, there's nobody else to talk to. So that's not what I mean. But it also wasn't continuing to build relationships with other people that I didn't know as well. I was just relying on the relationships that I already had. And I think that takes you to a certain point before that starts to slow down. And I experienced that. And so you have to also kind of, yes, I hit that point over the winter. Oh, yes, sorry, there's more people. Thanks, Linz. Um, yeah, I hit that point too where it's like, okay, all the people that love me have tried it or used it, or most of the people have. And so I need to really continue to make relationships with other people, because people buy from you because they trust you, right? Um, Another thing that you do to help your own enrollment and to help build that trust is you have conversations with people. You're having conversations in Messenger. You're moving things over to Messenger. You're commenting on people's posts. You're talking to them about things that are not just Plexus. Um, you are sharing about things that are not just Plexus, because that builds your trust. If you are sharing about this awesome deal going on where you got clothes for your kids at Old Navy, and people go there and they buy the clothes for their kids from Old Navy, you build a little bit of trust with people that you've never met before, because they're like, oh, this girl shared about this too. So we're sharing about things that we love. That's not just Plexus. If we are just sharing about Plexus things, we're not really building trust with those people that we don't know. We're not really building relationships with them, but we want them to, like, I think Gina is a really good example of this. If you follow along with her, she shares a lot of things that help with autoimmune conditions and Lyme disease. That's not just Plexus. So she's building trust with people because they know that they can count on her to share good factual information about things. And it's not just because she's making a sale off of them, because a lot of the things she shares about are not things that she profits from. Another way to build that trust and that relationship that's going to move you over into helping with your enrollment are voice messages. And don't ever underestimate the power of a good voice message. Um, those are pivotal in helping build trust with people that you don't know, people that you haven't talked to. And it takes you out of that sounding salesy or being afraid of sounding salesy to where they can hear your heart in it, and they can hear like how genuine you are and how much you really do just want to help them. So all of that to say, enrollment is one pillar of your business that is going to continue to make or break you. Because if you don't continue to enroll people, at some point your things are going to slow down, because you can't continue duplication, which is another pillar we're going to talk about in a minute. You can't continue to duplicate and grow your business if you're not continuing to enroll people. The second pillar of your business that will make or break you is retention. Retention means keeping possession of. Okay, so knowing how to keep your people using your Plexus products. And I'm going to say that some attrition, so some people are naturally going to fall off. Like, we know that not everybody is going to use Plexus for the rest of forever. And that's okay. But we want to keep as many people using the products because we know that they're valuable forever. And we know that with consistency is when they're going to continue to feel better and better and better. So how do we keep our people? How do we keep all of our ambassadors and all of our customers? That can seem overwhelming. One thing I'm going to tell you is that this starts before somebody even purchases Plexus from you. And I know that sounds crazy. Like, how does that have anything to do with keeping your people? But it does. It's how you are marketing your products and how you are having those conversations with them. Because if you are marketing a quick fix, or you are telling somebody that it's a quick fix and they're going to see results right away, you're probably going to struggle with keeping your people, because if they aren't seeing results right away, they're going to think it's not working or it's not worth it. If you are preparing them ahead of time for detox, if you are preparing them ahead of time for, hey, this is a health system and this takes time and this takes consistency in order for it to work, your retention is going to be so much better, because people know that, okay, I'm experiencing some detox. Well, she warned me about this, so this is normal. This is something I can expect. Or I'm not losing weight in the first 2 weeks. Well, she told me it wasn't a quick fix, so I know that this is going to take time. So retention starts with the conversations that you're having with people before they even buy a thing from you. Another huge part of retention is caring for your people. How are you taking care of your people? Sorry, I just had to let Lauren in. Sorry, Lauren. Are you following up with your customers and your ambassadors, or are you recruiting and adding somebody and they buy from you and then it's ghost city? Like, you don't message them, you don't follow up with them. So part of retention is contact with those people. You're communicating with them, you're checking in on them, you're using the follow-up scripts that we have. You are helping them troubleshoot their products if they're having issues with their products. You are letting them know that Plexus is not a one-size-fits-all, and that we have lots of different products. So if something isn't working for you and you've been consistent and you've been trying it, we have other things that we can try. We have schedules we can switch around. So you want your people to know that, like, the triplex combo is not the end-all be-all. Yes, we love the triplex combo, but there are other things we can do for people if that's just not working for them. Another way that we care about our people and follow up with our people is talking to them about things that aren't just Plexus. This helps build that relationship with people, and people are more likely to come to you when they're having problems, when they can't afford their products, if you have built a relationship on something other than just Plexus. You should know about their families. You should know about what their goals are. We should be checking in on them with these things. You should also be checking in on their subscriptions, okay? If somebody's turned their subscription off, or they put their subscription down to just one product, why? Okay, get to the root of that problem. Why is their subscription off? And if you have built a relationship with this customer or this ambassador, it's going to be easier to go to them and talk to them about those things too. Because more than likely they're either having problems with their products, or they can't afford their products. They're just not being consistent and they need help getting consistent with their products. So retention is the second thing that is going to make or break you. And that basically boils down to you following up with them, you caring about them, and the conversations you're having with them before they even start on Plexus. The third pillar of your business that is going to make or break you, and this one is huge, you guys, This is called duplication. Have you heard us say that word before? I hope you have. Duplication is going to make or break you. Are you, and it's something that you want to ask yourself is, if you're noticing maybe you're not duplicating in your downline, or you want to know how to duplicate better, ask yourself the question, am I being the expert here? If you are being the expert, or you are overcomplicating things when you're talking to someone about Plexus or the triplex combo, they might still buy from you, but when they think about, are they going to be able to do what you're doing? So when you go to them and say, hey, would you want to share about Plexus and I can help you? And they're going to ask themselves, well, can I do what Brooke is doing? Heck no. All the things she had to send me and the way she explained all of that, I cannot do that. That's complicated and that's too much work. So if you are being the expert or you are being too wordy, you are going to struggle with duplication, because people are going to look at what you're doing and they're going to say, I can't do that. So take a good look at how you are coming across to people, the conversations that you're having with people. Again, another thing that's going to help with your duplication is knowing your ambassadors. Again, comes back to those relationships. What is it that they need? Do they need your help with consistency? Or do they need help? So do they need accountability partners? Because there's an opportunity for duplication. Do they need more money? Because there's an opportunity for duplication. Do they need more time? Are they working like crazy and they want to be home with their kids more? There's an opportunity for duplication. But if you are trying to push on somebody getting their products paid for when money is not an issue for them, they're going to be like, no, like I have plenty of money, but I'm working like crazy to earn that money, and I don't have time to add another business into what I'm already doing because I'm crazy busy all the time. So you have to know your ambassadors enough to know how to help them and what area they need help with, so that you can help them duplicate, whether that's bringing some people in as accountability partners, whether that's helping them get their products paid for, or whether that's helping them have some time freedom. So earning some money with Plexus and talking to them about that so that they can cut back on their job. They need to know, you guys, that we have an opportunity, that they have an opportunity to share. Some people don't even know that they signed up as a wholesale ambassador, and that gives them a website and the opportunity to share with their family and friends. And how are they going to know that unless we are talking to them about it? We have to let them know that that option is there. So that is a huge part of duplication, just letting them know. And even if they don't want to take advantage of that right now, that doesn't mean that down the road they're not going to want to take advantage of it, because you're planting those seeds for the future. Another huge part of duplication, and you're going to hear us say this over and over again too, is getting them plugged into the systems and the groups that we have. I know that sometimes it can feel like, I don't want to add somebody to another group because like they're already in all these groups. You guys, this is the system. They need to know that they are surrounded by a community of people who also want health and happiness, who are also working towards that. Get them plugged into the things that we have. If somebody wants to get their products paid for, or they want more time freedom, they better be in our Start with Silver group. Even if somebody just joins as a wholesale ambassador, they need to be in Diamond Tribe, because that is where they see things happening and where we spark ideas for them. Oh, there's these other products. Oh, there's this sale. Well, maybe my mom would want to join me because this sale is going on. We have to plug them in. We have to use the systems that are already in place. And you guys, we learned this the hard way. We duplicated like crazy last year, and then it went right down the crapper because we didn't have systems in place. We have healthy, good systems in place right now, and we need to use them to continue our duplication. Yes, Lindsay's adding some awesome verbiage in the chat, so make sure that you check that out as well. Thank you, Lindsay. Take advantage of three-way chats with your sponsor. So if you have a potential, you're putting them into a three-way chat with you and your sponsor, this is another way that we duplicate. Our people learn from us through three-way chats. I don't expect somebody who just started to know all the answers to all the things and for them to say it without word vomiting, because that's what I did when I started. But if they watch me do it, they not only learn that way, so they learn how to duplicate in that way, but maybe my personality will click with somebody's potential more so than theirs will, or vice versa. If I put somebody in a three-way chat with Lauren, her personality is different than mine, and so maybe her personality will click with something, or she'll say something different that I wouldn't even think about saying, so that somebody that would click with somebody and get them to purchase as well. The other thing that I really like about three-way chats, and it goes back to being the expert. You don't have to be the expert. So when you ask somebody if they want to share about Plexus and they ask themselves if they can do this, they're going to think back to what you did. And if you just plugged them into a three-way chat with your sponsor, they're like, that was easy. Sure, I can start a three-way chat with you and the person that I'm talking to. It takes the pressure off of them to know all the things. It allows them to see how easy our system is. So don't be afraid to use three-way chats. Use them to your advantage all the time. Another part of duplication, and you've been seeing this like crazy, are our parties, our online parties. And now that things are getting a little bit better with COVID, sip and sees, we have to be offering these to people, because again, people don't know that these are an option for us to host a virtual party for them if we aren't asking them and we aren't telling them about it. So there are so many opportunities for duplication in our downline, and getting people plugged in and talking to them about things is huge, because they don't know that these are options unless we're telling them about it. The fourth pillar of your business that is going to make or break you is leadership. And I think this is one that we sometimes forget or leave out when we're building our business. And I am here to tell you that every single one of you is a leader. You're a leader because you're on this call. That tells me that you want to do better and you want to be better, right? And that makes you a leader. You are a leader from the first time that you posted about Plexus on social media. Why? Because leaders influence people. They add value to people's lives. And by sharing about Plexus, we are adding value to others' lives. We are influencing them and we are helping them. So every single one of you is a leader. Be the person that you want to attract on your team, right? If you need to envision, like, what do I want my team to look like? What is my ideal person or client? You need to be that person. Like, you are not going to recruit leaders if you're not being a leader yourself. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But also find your sweet spot. I don't expect, like, we have a leadership team, and it's because we all bring different things to the table. And if I sat over here comparing myself to Lauren, and Lauren is great with numbers, and she can run back office numbers, and she can point forecasts for me all day long, and I could think to myself, I'm not a leader because I don't know how to do that, or I can't do that for my team. No, that's just not my sweet spot. That's not what I'm good at as a leader, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean that I'm any less of a leader because I can't do that, but I can utilize her skills as a leader and her ability to point forecasts. And there's other things that I can bring to the table, instead of not wasting my time, but instead of taking my time trying to figure out how to do that when she already knows how to do that. So just because somebody else might be a better leader in one area than you, that doesn't make you less of a leader, okay? Utilize what you have and what your strengths are and what your sweet spot is. If that's motivating people, then motivate people. If that is teaching your team how to recruit people, then do that. If that's hosting parties or creating content, all of those things make you a leader, you guys. You don't have to specialize in one thing, or you don't have to know all the things. Use us to make yourself better and to, I guess, pick up on those places where you might feel like that's your weak spot. Another quality that a leader has is they speak life into their team. They are motivating their team. They are telling their team something, a belief in themselves that they might not see or they might not know about themselves, right? You are speaking life into them. You are helping them through those ruts. And this comes with getting to know your team. So all of this is tied in together. You are telling them, I know that you will be a jewel because I see these qualities in you. People love you. You're great at caring for people. You have an amazing personality and you love the Lord, and all of these things. We're speaking life into our team, and that's something that a leader does. A leader doesn't tear their team down. A leader builds their teams up. They see things in their team that maybe somebody doesn't see in themselves, and they're telling them those things, and they're telling them why makes them a leader and why that makes them qualified to do what they're doing. Another thing that a leader does is they empower their teams. This is different from like just giving them all the things. So instead of saying, oh yeah, I'll send you every single welcome pack graphic for getting started, I would say, hey, I will show you where you can find the getting started welcome pack graphics in the Start with Silver page, and it's under the albums, or it's, I'll show you where to find the follow-up scripts. They're in the files and Start with Silver. Instead of just saying, oh, here, send this to your person. Okay, that's fine. So we're teaching them how to fish. We're not just giving them fish, right? Everybody knows kind of that parable. So we are empowering our team to find the resources, to be the leaders, and teaching them how to do the things so that they can duplicate that in their downline too. We're showing them the systems. We're not just doing it for them. We're showing them how to run their own launch parties online, their own virtual parties. We're not just doing it all for them. We're showing them how to enroll somebody. We're not just enrolling their people for them. So we are kind of teaching them those things so that they can take it and do it themselves. And that also makes them feel good about themselves because they know how to do those things. And eventually they won't come to you with all of those questions anymore because they know how to do it and they feel good about that. Thank you, Gina. Sweet of you. I really believe that speaking life into people is huge. And again, like I've had people that do this to me too. They tell you things about yourself that it's hard for you to see about yourself, or it's hard to see why you would be good at this or why you're doing that, what your strengths are. But when somebody tells you that, who doesn't like to hear those good things about themselves? So be that for your team. Those are the 4 pillars of your business that I think will make or break you. And then these are the next ones I'm going to kind of throw out there, I think, are extra things that I have learned along the way as well, that I also believe will make or break you. So the next one is balance. If you cannot find a good balance with your work life and your home life and your mom life and your spouse life, that's going to break you because you are going to get burnt out and you are going to get overwhelmed and you are going to say, what am I doing this for? I'm working all the time and this is not what I signed up for. I didn't want to do this. But this goes all the way around. And I want to talk more about balance another time. So I don't want to get into this too much, but I really believe that if you, or vice versa, if you are giving everything that you have to your babies and everything that you have to your housework and all of that stuff, that's great. But are you just forgetting about this other thing that God called you to do? Are you just forgetting about this other thing over here that you feel really passionate about? Because that deserves some time and attention too. And I'm talking about this business, you guys. If God has called you to do this, if you feel like this is something that you are supposed to be doing, then you should be making time for this. And you should not feel guilty about that. But you also shouldn't be spending all of your time doing this if that's not what you feel like you're called to do, because you do have other things. And so it's really important to find the balance in it. I remember hearing, I don't even remember where I heard it, but it was back when I started. And I remember in the beginning, I thought that I had to respond to every Plexus message right away, like right now. And I remember hearing on a training call, like, nothing in Plexus is an emergency. That's true, I would say 99% of the time. And so it's okay if you wait to respond to messages until your kids are napping. Or if you're in the middle of dinner time or you're in the middle of your bedtime routine, it's okay if you wait to send those messages until you get your family in bed. That's okay. And that is what is going to allow you to keep that balance where you don't feel like you're working like crazy all the time. Yes, you're making money and you're helping people, but now you're not intentional with your family and you're not spending time with them. And that is not what we signed up to do either. And so finding that balance in things. And if anybody's like struggling with this, I'd love to talk to you more about it one-on-one, because I do feel like this is something that I have learned the hard way as well. The next thing that is going to make or break you is your mindset. And we have heard, if you were on Lindsay's Zoom last week, or if you watched the replay of it, that has been huge for her. But also for myself too. I think mindset with everybody, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are right. And I'm sure that we've all heard that quote before, but it's true. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't think you can do this business, you're right. It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy where you self-sabotage and you go down this rabbit hole and you'll quit. You'll end up being done with the business because of that. If you believe you can do this business, you believe that you can be a jewel, or you believe that you can go senior gold, or whatever your next goal is, you are also right, because you are saying to yourself, I can do this. You're not saying that there's not going to be hard times or obstacles, but that is going to make or break you. Um, Along with mindset comes fear. If you allow fear to take over, I could do a whole Zoom on fear too, so I'm not going to get into all of that, but fear of rejection, fear of other people's opinions, of what people are going to think of you, that all goes along with mindset. And if you let that become a top priority in your life, that will break you. You'll be done. You will get too overwhelmed with hearing the word no, or you'll get too overwhelmed with what are people going to think, or what are people going to say, and you're not going to go any further. Um, your belief in yourself is a part of your mindset, and that, I think, in itself is like the biggest thing, is that that's either going to propel you forward or going to keep you stuck, and eventually you will fall off, because you have to believe in yourself that you can do this. And that doesn't mean that you know all the things. It just means that you are willing to learn, and you're willing to put your nose to the grindstone and stick with it through the thick and the thin. 80% of this business is mindset. I would say that's pretty much true, but also with most things that we do, about 20% of this business is skill set. So things that can be learned, right? We can learn, and we can train, and we can teach you. But the biggest obstacle you are going to face is right here. And it's going to be your own self that you're battling with, to keep moving forward when times are tough, or when people aren't just messaging you constantly about wanting to sign up, or when somebody on your team quits, or somebody had a bad experience with the product. How you react to that and your mindset about it is what is going to make or break you. Along with that, I just want to say this too: motivation is a feeling, and I think that that's also part of your mindset. Consistency is discipline, and if you are consistent and disciplined in this business, and with what you're doing and what you're sharing and helping people, then you will succeed. If you rely on motivation, that is a feeling that's fleeting, that comes and goes, you'll be done in a few months, because motivation is not always going to be there to do this business, but you have to be disciplined enough to do it consistently. The last thing that I want to tell you guys that I believe that will make or break you in this business, is whether or not you take time to enjoy the journey. And this comes from personal experience, because I will say that last year, like, I don't know, since I started probably, Emerald has been a goal of mine since I began. Like, that would be awesome to make six figures with this business. Like, what could that do for my family? And so, and also, I think in Plexus, we kind of put those people, like the jewels, on a pedestal at some points. I think we do. And so there's like this status that comes along with it. So last year I was busy, like working and ranking up and working and ranking up. And when I got to Emerald, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to downplay that at all, because that was awesome. And I rode that cloud for a while. But let me tell you that it felt empty, because I forgot why I was doing what I was doing. And I did not take time to enjoy the journey. So I went Ruby, and I was like, all right, Senior Ruby, here I come. I went Senior Ruby, and I'm like, okay, Emerald next month. And I didn't enjoy what I was doing. I wasn't taking time to enjoy helping other people. Not that I wasn't helping other people. That's not what I want to say. I wasn't enjoying the process of it. I was just so focused on that end goal. And for me, that was Emerald, that when I got there, it was like, what for? Like, what was I doing this for again? And so what I want you to always remember is why you are doing what you are doing. Set your intentions, and let your intentions and your why drive you. And don't just set your goals for that next rank and forget why you're doing what you're doing. Because when you get there, it will feel empty. If you are so focused on the numbers and what you need to get to that next rank, I think it's awesome to have goals, and I don't want to downplay goals at all. But I will tell you that if you forget why you're doing what you're doing, when you meet those goals, it's not going to feel the way that you think it's going to feel. And I say that with the truest intentions, because I did that, and I've been there, and that is hard. And so this year, when I set my goals, I did not set like numbers goals. I didn't set, I want to be this rank or this thing. My intentions and my goals were to help as many people experience financial freedom as possible. And so in doing that, I am enjoying that journey, because I am seeing so many people experience financial freedom. People rank up. People make extra money and make money for their products, and there is so much more joy in that. And am I, in turn, is my business moving forward? It is. But I am enjoying the process of getting there, and I'm not just focused on, I need to get to Sapphire, I need to get to Diamond, because in the long run, that doesn't mean anything for me. What means something for me is who the person that I become along the way and the people that I help along the way. So please, if you take anything from this, and I'm looking up here because I had Kirsten make me a sign for my office, so it's a constant reminder for me to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, enjoy why I'm doing what I'm doing, and don't just caught up in the numbers and the goals and the next. So, whew, that was long-winded. I'm gonna stop my recording.